What's cracking, everybody? Zerfel Rose here with Maggie, bringing you some Pokemon Go Battle League content. Look at that smile. Yeah, you ready, aren't you? Gosh, you're so cute. So we've got a video here. Exciting shoutcast. Thank you, trainer. Baj2018, a trainer you've seen on the channel before. He submitted some battles for the Master League Premier Cup Classic featuring Mamoswine with that new high horsepower addition to its moveset. So today's video is all about Mamoswine and whatever the Walrein and Gyarados will accomplish alongside it, because they're still very strong Pokemon, even though Walrein had its Powder Snow nerfed and Gyarados is just super top meta. So let's get right into the battles. And trainers, if you would like to submit some battles for shoutcasting on this channel, there is a link in the description that you can fill out and send in those battles for shoutcasting. So we're going to hit a Florges Sleep. That's terrible for the Dragon Breath Gyarados. Walrein's going to come in immediately and start to load up on energy. The opponent's probably going to go for a Moonblast here. Try and get some good chip damage in, then come in with whatever they've got in the back, as they probably don't have a super solid answer to the Walrein. Here comes an Excadrill. Opponent doesn't have a super solid answer in the back for Walrein, especially, man, if this is if that was an Earthquake, man, oh goodness. So actually, we should be able to get to the Earthquake here right before the Excadrill can get to their Rock Slide. So this Walrein's already putting an immense amount of pressure on the Excadrill, and they shield up knowing that this is probably an Earthquake, and the opponent is now going to be able to load up on a bunch of extra energy, but is going to also throw a move on the CMP. So this is pretty easy for the Walrein to, okay, they're going to shield this up, because, all right, we'll see how this goes then. I'm already being completely taken by surprise with some of the ways that the trainers do their battles, but you know what? They're doing the battles and not me, and if it works for them, you know what? Excadrill goes down. Not sure. I know they had enough energy for at least another move and a half. So I wonder why they don't throw there, but that's okay. It's just easy pickings for the Walrein to farm down. Maybe the opponent thought they were going to get to one more move right before they went down and they pressed it and couldn't. Maybe misjudging their HP bar. I know that happens to me often enough. So the Walrein has now done its job, goes down, and now we have Mamoswine coming in to start getting ahead on energy against this Florges. And Disarming Voice is not going to do a ton of damage, but it's going to do enough. And it's a Waterfall Gyarados that comes in. So Baj2018 is going to throw this Avalanche into the Gyarados and then probably swap out into his own Gyarados and start farming down. And Avalanche does a ton of damage, and here comes the other Gyarados, looking to probably farm down, honestly, and then using the Aqua Tails as chip damage. Hopefully you should be able to save your shield and get to an Avalanche against the against the Florges in the back. So going to be able to farm all the way down, and then there's just Aqua Tails for days here. So one Aqua Tail easily gets the shield. Well, I guess at this point you can go for double Aqua Tail. Yeah, you shield this up and you go for double Aqua Tail. I think that's the play here. And then you're going to guarantee, because I'm pretty sure Aqua Tail should take out from this range. If not, like Aqua Tail plus a Powder Snow or something, you know? So going to get the first shield, and here comes the second move, and that was not a CMP, so we know that if this Florges, if they CMP'd, maybe they got to move off if they live. But nope, that's going to take out the Florges, and that's going to be a really well-played, nice, clean game. You know, really pivotal moment was the opponent's Excadrill not getting to that move. And maybe they didn't have enough. I thought they did, but maybe they didn't, and maybe I'm just out of my mind. So a mirror lead here. Hard to say what's going to be in the back. Whatever is in the back is probably not going to be happy to see a Gyarados. So honestly, I think, yeah, Mamoswine, you know, you come in with the Mamoswine when the energy is depleted off of the Gyarados. I think that would be the only way. I think maybe you safe swap in the Mamoswine here. Let the Walrein finish the job. No, Baj is looking to stay in for this matchup and just eliminate the Gyarados completely. I respect that decision. Do we soft lose and farm? I think we soft lose and farm. There we go. I agree with that. I agree with that completely. So then the Walrein's going to come in here and start really loading up on energy. 4 Powder Snows ahead of whatever comes in, and the opponent has an Excadrill. Now this Excadrill is going to have to respect this Earthquake, especially because it's going to get there. Okay, so we're going to let this go. The Rock Slide will do super effective damage, but it definitely won't be enough to take out a Walrein. So opponent's definitely going to need 2 moves here, and this Walrein has so much energy that it could play with its opponent as much as it like, and honestly probably get a shield here. Yep, so there's the shield off the Excadrill. Now if he can get to this Earthquake before the opponent can get to a move, but unfortunately the opponent would have gotten to a move, and that's very expertly well done counting by Baj here by not throwing right away, because this is going to allow him now to, instead of CMP tying the opponent, now is going to be able to throw this Earthquake and potentially even get to another move. But instead we're going to quick swap out of the Mamoswine here, and we're going to start getting ahead of energy with the Mamoswine. The opponent probably has something in the back that does not appreciate Mamoswine That's probably why they're staying in. Now, I would always go for Drill Run if you're in this situation, fellow trainers. Rock Slide actually does neutral damage to the Mamoswine, so you're actually going to want to go for Drill Run because it does a little bit more damage and it's got that stab bonus on top of it. And the opponent comes in with their own Mamoswine, and at this point, it's going to be up to Baj is see... Oh my goodness. Well, I just have to see how much damage. I was going to see how much damage this does, but truthfully, I don't know. He's going to go for the high horsepower. I think that does more damage as a single move than Avalanche would. So going for the high horsepower damage, that's going to be very, very close to taking it out. And he's going to be able to get to this Icicle Spear just in time. No, he's going to farm down just in time. Well, there goes my train of thought. Awkward silence in the middle of the video. That's just me trying to process how much damage that Avalanche was going to do, honestly. So we've got another really good lead here with the Metagross on the opponent's end, and they're staying in. Now, because they have Dragon Breath on the Gyarados here, this actually isn't as bad of a matchup for the Metagross because it's resisting that damage. If it were Waterfall Gyarados, this would be much more one-sided. But able to get the crunch damage off, and that's actually going to help a lot against this backline because ice types don't really enjoy dealing with steel types. So Metagross is going to have to fire off a resisted Meteor Mash and is not even going to be able to get to another one before the Soccer Tail goes off. So the opponent's going to have to basically sack their Metagross at this point, which is quite possibly their hardest answer to this backline. So the opponent is going to come in. Oh, they have a Dragonite in the back. Oh, this is absolute easy pickings. Gyarados in the back. Oh my god, this Walrein is about to manhandle this team. So we've got some expertly done timing here by Baj to throw this Icicle Spear in the middle of the waterfall animation. The switches screw me up all the time, so I'm no good at that stuff, but regular timing, I'm good. Can't do the rest of it, though. Are you plotting something, or are you just really intently watching these? So looks like she's planning something. No, she's just totally zoned in. So Crunch is going to get this Walrein, and there's still 2 shields left. And once the opponent sees that there's a Mamoswine on the other end, yeah, as soon as the Metagross went down, their answer to this backline went away. So, you know, typical fashion, trainers, when you have when you've got a team that has that kind of comp where you've got like Gyarados, Dragonite in the back, your opponent has a Gyarados in the lead, like you do want to eventually swap out because that will hopefully lure out your opponent's hardest answer. Now, if the opponent here had decided to swap out of their Metagross and maybe come in with the Gyarados, for example, that may have ended up bringing the Walrein into the picture. And then, yes, obviously Baj still has his Mamoswine, but at least the Metagross would have had more play there rather than just being deleted by the Gyarados. So the opponent is going to have a Snorlax lead in this game, so we're going to see just how this Gyarados does. I know that the Snorlax here looks like it has a Best Buddy ribbon on, so it's probably Best Buddied. So that means it's going to get a break point against the Gyarados, which is a really handy thing, and I'm kind of mad that I didn't Best Buddy my Snorlax before this rotation. But the opponent is going to quick swap in their Gyarados, and Baj is looking to get a chip damage crunch off on that Gyarados before potentially swapping into his Walrein here, I think is what the play is going to be. Yeah, here comes the Walrein. The little Walrein's looking like an easy target to be able to snipe down this Gyarados with an Icicle Spear. Maybe, go ahead and overfarm a bit here. Gets that crunch, gets the defense debuff even, so not going to be able to overfarm quite as much because of that debuff. It's going to do a lot of damage afterwards. You are not kicking my keyboard, young lady. So going to be able to farm down after the Icicle Spear hits. And now the Metagross is going to come in that was in the back, and that is going to be a very nice thing for Baj to see at this point, because now the Gyarados not only does it get the alignment, but also Mamoswine has play against this. You're forcing a shield off of it with the Walrein. Now, yes, the Metagross is getting a huge farm down, but bringing the Gyarados, they basically have to waste that energy in order to take it out. And the opponent obviously lost track of the energy that was on the Metagross, so now it's all going to be up to Mamoswine to take care of this opponent. And with a shield advantage, I think that it can do just that. Now, this is a very, very hard matchup for the Mamoswine because it has to successfully bait, and if it doesn't bait successfully, then the opponent is going to be able to just simply farm down. And you just pause the video, you little butthead. Don't do that. We're trying to record a video. All right. Meteor Mash is going to get the shield, and the opponent, Baj, basically has to either correctly bait or potentially get the shield off. Now, he has to remember that there is another Pokemon in the back waiting, and the Metagross is basically going to say, am I calling this bait or not? No, the Metagross doesn't call the bait! And that means the Snorlax is going to come in, and this Snorlax is basically going to have to be able to lick down before the 2 avalanches are reached. But unfortunately for this opponent, this Mamoswine with Powder Snow gets to those avalanches very quickly and has 2 locked and loaded and ready to go. But due to some lag, it almost looks like there was a overtap situation, but thankfully the Mamoswine is able to live these licks and is going to get this avalanche off, and that is going to be a very close call, but well played. Man, that was something. That was way too close for me. Alright, so we've got a Florges lead. That's probably going to mean that the Walreign's going to swap in on the safe swap here, and then the opponent's going to bring in a Haxorus, which, with shields, this is a good matchup for Haxorus, but easily going to be a situation where the Gyarados could farm down as well. Now, I think Botch is definitely looking to play for shield, or for switch advantage here, shielding up that first Night Slash to guarantee that these counters cannot take out this Walrein by themselves. And now, if he simply is going to go for these Icicle Spears, one Icicle Spear should be enough to take out the Haxorus, I believe, because Haxorus is pretty squishy. Ooh, you're rooting for him, are we? So the opponent is going to have to fire off energy here, and if this Icicle Spear is not enough damage to KO, then unfortunately all this was for naught. But I'm thinking that this Icicle Spear is probably enough. As someone who runs Haxorus on a regular basis in this cup, I am pretty sure that this is going to be enough to KO and get switch advantage, and thankfully that will take out the Haxorus. That's going to put Gyarados, a Waterfall Gyarados, in the path of the Gyarados in the lead here, and now no shields are up, and that means that Botch's Mamoswine free reign in this end game to take care of the Florges, and you are being a little butthead. What are you doing? And the opponent is staying in here knowing that they, I don't know if they know, but I would definitely would have brought my Florges in by now if I was the opponent, because that would mean that I can bait out whatever's in the back. This Gyarados definitely has some play, and now it even has more play. So this Aqua Tail is going to do some chip damage to the Florges, and I imagine the Mamoswine just comes in, gets an avalanche off, and that's going to call it a game. Yeah? 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 So here comes the Florges, and we are going to see how much damage a Moonblast is going to do to the Mamoswine, and that's quite a bit of damage. But thankfully, oh, he's going for the high horsepower. He's going all the way in. So high horsepower, is that going to be enough damage to KO this Florges from over 50% HP? We're going to find out, and if it is, it's going to get a boom. Not quite enough, but one Powder Snow is going to be enough to KO the Florges afterwards, and that's going to be a good game. Very well played. What are you doing? This little humpy butt. So we've got Excadrill in the lead. You kind of have to stay in here. This isn't a bad matchup for Gyarados, but it's definitely worse for the Mamoswine and the Walrein, I believe. You are pulling on my hair, young lady. You are eating my hair. That is weird. Why are you doing that? Hey, you know everybody who watches this is going to see how you abuse me. And you just slap me, you silly goose. So it looks like the Excadrill and the Gyarados are still going at it. Gyarados is going to shield up this Rock Slide. Has already taken a Rock Slide, looks like, and now Gyarados is going to come in, and now we're going to get some chip damage with the Crunch, and then probably Walrein comes in after this. Alright, so after a little bit more chip damage, the Walrein is going to swap in, and then Baj is probably going to look to try and have an Earthquake, or at least a couple of Icicle Spears ready to go for this wall, or for the for the Excadrill. There we go, there it is. Yep, overloading a ton on energy just before the opponent would get to an Aqua Tail or Crunch to get some more damage in. The Icicle Spear will almost KO the Gyarados, but not before it's able to get a move off. And now I think Baj has to make an option, make a decision here. That Crunch is not going to KO, just a tiny fraction of HP left, and that's going to allow him to get an Icicle Spear off against whatever else comes in right before going down. And the Icicle Spear will come out. You know, you're probably going to hurt somebody's eardrums doing that. I know you hurt mine already, you little silly. So here comes Gyarados, and the opponent is going to catch on a Machamp, and this... Okay, this is scary. So the opponent's got a Machamp in the back, and that means that this Mamoswine is going to have a bad time. Yeah, Baj just surrendered. He's like, nah, screw this, I'm out. You know what? That's alright, I probably would have done the exact same. Well played, though. Up until that Machamp came in. That's the only one thing that you really can't deal with, is a Machamp in the back that didn't come in against that Walrein. So a decent lead here in the front here. Now, it's interesting to note that even though the Dragonite has... even though the Dragonite takes super effective damage from these Dragon Breaths, it technically wins the one shield matchup. Now, because the opponent came in with a Snorlax, Baj quickly fires off a Crunch. The opponent's Snorlax tanks it like a champ, and they're going to go to another one. And I think that this is the smart play here, because Dragonite does not have anywhere else to go on this team, except for against this Gyarados. And if the Gyarados is going to keep getting crunch debuffs like that, then this is going to be really easy for him to be able to take out the Snorlax without any issue. So Snorlax definitely has a couple of body slams loaded. And Baj now looks to come in with his Wall Rain and start loading up on energy, maybe get to a move before the opponent's able to get to the superpower, but unfortunately not going to happen. So he is going to commit a shield here in order to potentially block this superpower, but the opponent is instead going to go for a body slam bait, which is, you know, maybe they have outrage or something. I've seen that happen too. You're so weird. But the Snorlax is going to go down, and now we're going to see what's in the back, because the Dragonite is definitely not coming in against this Wall Rain. Nope, it is definitely coming in against this Wall Rain, so they can fire off their superpower, and honestly, I don't even know if a superpower would KO Wall Rain from here, but I don't know the answer to that question. I know Baj wasn't looking to find out, but here comes the next Excadrill, and so this is going to be an Icicle Spear bait. The opponent may or may not have been counting the Wall Rain's energy, so they may have to shield up anyway. Nope, they were definitely counting. You always want to make sure you're building up to the Earthquake before you throw it if you're trying to do a proper bait. Opponent definitely maybe just KO. I think you just go for the Earthquake, to be honest there. And just say, screw it, give me your shield. Because your Mamoswine can definitely live at least two. Mamoswine lives 2 moves. Oh, but if we can get to the Aqua Tail, the Mamoswine easily just cleans up the entirety of that Dragonite. Easy claps, right? Definitely easy claps. I'm definitely not... Oh. It's going to be a close one. Because that superpower may KO this Mamoswine. I definitely know that that's a squishier Pokemon than Wall Rain. That might hurt a lot. Superpower coming through. Collapse it. But, dude, Wall Rain able to hang on by a thread to get those Powder Snows through to KO the Dragonite. Well played. There's something terribly wrong with you. Picking up a really spicy lead into a Tangrowth here. And everything is in trouble against this Tangrowth. Power Whip does super effective damage to Wall Rain and Mamoswine. Rock Slide does super effective damage to Gyarados. You just kind of have to pick your poison. And my wife is laughing at me and my misfortune with this child rolling around in my lap as though I were some sort of slinky handler.
No such thing.
Yeah, I'm doing no such thing. My rear end. Oh, you almost got me. I almost did it. I almost cursed in my own video.
That was all your fault.
No, it was not me.
Yeah.
You're riling me up. Trying to...
Sure.
Yeah, huh? Well, unfortunately, this Metagross looks like it's able to get to a move. Where are you going? There's nothing over there but floor. Dude, live the Meteor Mash by a hair, dude. Whoa, Wall Rain is hanging on by the skin of its tusks. And that Earthquake is going to land and do a ton of super effective damage to the Metagross. And that is going to allow the Gyarados to come in, get a bunch of extra farm, and fire off an Aqua Tail, hopefully KOing the Metagross. If not, Baj definitely has multiple Aqua Tails locked and loaded, easily just fires off the next one, but instead doesn't go for the CMP. I don't even know if you win the CMP, but he's going to commit a shield here. And I have a Mocking Baby in my lap. Dragon Breaths are not going to be enough, are they? Oh, they're just barely enough to KO, and that is going to put Baj at a shield disadvantage against this Tangrowth, though. And this Tangrowth is going to have to deal with the shield's down against the Tangrowth. It's a nightmare. Tangrowth almost goes down. You could take out the Tangrowth right here and almost potentially get rid of the hardest answer to Mamoswine. Opponent just absorbs the energy, and they've got an Ursaluna in the back, and that is the worst possible thing that the opponent could have done in this situation. Ursaluna is not going to be able to handle Mamoswine unless it gets off a high horsepower, which I don't know if it's going to be able to or not. I don't know if high horsepower is going to KO. Let's find out. High horsepower, yep, that definitely KOs. Never mind, you get clapped. Mamoswine gets clapped. Nothing you can do about that, though. The only way you win that was getting a 2. The opponent having Tangrowth, that was some spice. Whoosh transition, we had a little incident, so we had to do a little transition there, but we're all good. So we get a great lead Gyarados into the Metagross, and that's going to be another Metagross that is staying in. Possibly core broken by this Gyarados, I don't know, but we're going to find out, because it's going to take Gyarados one less turn to get to that crunch, and that means it's going to be able to get some super effective damage off right away before the game even starts. Opponent brings in Mamoswine, and that's honestly not bad. The opponent almost gonna catch on that Avalanche. I know that was what Baj was looking to do here. Almost got that catch on the Avalanche, but the opponent was patient, held their energy, and now we're gonna shield up a high horsepower, maybe fearing a potential Stone Edge. Doesn't matter. I'm gonna load up a bunch of extra energy. This should be just an Avalanche, I think. Baj is gonna call that, and that is definitely a high horsepower. We're gonna see that does a considerable amount of damage. Yeah, I know that does a lot of damage. But holding off on the on the Earthquake. Obviously just going to go straight for the Icicle Spear here. Shouldn't be able to get to more than an Avalanche here, but instead Baj is just going to throw it and just say, you know what? I'm not going to give it the chance. That Metagross is probably going to end up trying to throw a move here, but the Mamoswine thinks it's going to be able to get to a move. Baj's Walrein and the Mamoswine CMP tie, and they're just going to let it go. The Avalanche is not enough to KO. Thankfully, that was just an Avalanche, and so this Icicle Spear will be enough to KO, and now we're also giving that Metagross minimal farm, which is ideal. And now we're down 1 shield on each side, and we're going to see that Metagross most likely come in here to farm down, and that's fine, because you know what? The Metagross still has to throw Meteor Mash, but the Aqua Tail is going to come through here at the same time. CMP, the Metagross wins, and the Meteor Mash is resisted, and the opponent's most likely running Earthquake. And again, this is why I run Psychic on my Metagross, because I find myself far more likely to throw the Psychic into a Gyarados than I will needing an Earthquake for the mirror. But they swap at the same time, and in comes a Garchomp, and that is not what the opponent wanted to see. Baj can easily just tank this or shield up, and he's at 2 moves long before that Garchomp gets there, because the Avalanche outpaces before 2 Earth Powers will. So 2 Avalanches are going to come through, and you have a wet booty. Sorry, he probably just Googled on me or something. The opponent just going to concede the match there. That's all right. Good game. Well played. But, yeah, team comp sucks. Here's a Mamoswine lead. Not so bad if the Gyarados was running Waterfall, but because of Dragon Breath, this is a little bit more in the Mamoswine's favor, I believe. So Aqua Tail and the first Avalanche are going to fire off at the same time. Baj looks to overfarm a bit, shield up this first move, and is going to try and get to 2 Aqua Tails before the opponent can get to another Avalanche, but that's not going to happen because the opponent is going to come with a Snorlax, and honestly I don't think they would get to another one anyway, because the second Avalanche is after, I believe, 5, so either way you're not going to get there. But the opponent is going to come in with their Snorlax here and tank a couple of crunches before being able to throw off any charge moves here. Looks like there's no debuffs in Baj's future today. Second crunch comes through. Oh, there's the debuff. That's better. Alright, now we're feeling good. Gyarados is basically just going to tank the damage here. Maybe a shield comes up to take out the Snorlax, but the opponent's probably got 2.5 body slams or so loaded by now. So it's going to be up to the Snorlax. They do get their 1 turn before. Excellent counting by the opponent, making sure that they get this move off before the Gyarados can CMP them. And now Mamoswine can easily just come in, farm down, get so much energy it wouldn't even know what to do with it if it had any more. So a full farm down, opponent's not even going to be able to get to a move, and the opponent comes in with a Gyarados, and now Walrein comes in resisting the waterfall damage, and there's nothing the opponent can do here because what are you doing? Because if you recall, that Mamoswine is in the back, and that's not an ideal situation for the Mamoswine, because Walrein double resists all the ice damage. Are you sleepy, baby? You sleepy little babby. So we're going to go for another Icicle Spear here. The opponent is going to have to start shielding at some point here. Oh, honey, what's wrong? Don't get upset at me. I thought we were having a moment. Baj is going to let this go. It has to be a high horsepower. The opponent is not going to be able to take out this Walrein. High horsepower will KO. And all you have to do now is farm down, get the 2 Avalanches, and I think that's more than plenty. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. Goodness gracious, you're shaking the whole desk. Good grief. You want your mama? Anyway. Oh, it's going to be a tie. Simultaneous KO. That is going to go, man. What a great end of the battle. You completely missed it, Maggie. That was a tie. Yeah, you missed it. Anyway, great battles. Thank you to Baj 2018 for the submission. I really appreciate the battles. Well played, man. Really awesome team. I've wanted to use my Mamoswine, but I just haven't played enough in this rotation to do it because I hate this meta, to be honest. It's fun, but it's so RPS that it hurts. But anyway, let me know in the comments how your Master League Premier Cup has been going, and hopefully this, if you try this team, it seems super solid. I mean, even Walrein, even though the nerf to Powder Snow, still seems really solid here. And Mamoswine with that high horsepower now that has a good ground type move to have, it's a menace. So thanks everyone for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. And Maggie's over there bouncing with mommy, but she says bye too. So bye-bye.